I did. I didn't set out to start a war over land, but that's what it became. My dream house, everything I'd poured into the place up in smoke and the person smiling through the ashes. That's when I realized this wasn't about land at all. It was power. And I wasn't going to be another casualty on some HOA trophy wall. I should have known nothing about inheriting my granddad's place in the Rockies would be simple. The family always said that patch of pine and stone, it's not just land. It's legacy. You hold on to it. You protect it. I'd spent months drawing up my own plans, sketching out every inch right down to how the snow would slide off the roof in February. Solar off-grid built to last. If you could see it in my head, you'd know this wasn't some vacation cabin. This was my home. Or at least it was supposed to be. First sign of trouble came with a letter. HOA wanted me to join their little club, expanding community, generous offer. Yeah, sure. $2 million cash. I didn't even read the rest. Tossed it, didn't even bother to recycle. Maybe I was naive. Or maybe I just believed deep down that some things can't be bought. The president herself showed up after that. She stepped out of this blinding white Escalade boots, cleaner than my kitchen counter scarf that never saw real wind. Karen Devlin, she said, handout smile that could slice bread. President of the Summit Pines HOA. I just told her flat out, this property isn't and never will be part of an HOA. My grandfather made sure of that. Her smile didn't budge, but her eyes did just a flicker. A bit of a holdout, aren't you? She said. Voice like sugar poured over rusted nails. I could tell right then she wasn't used to hearing no. Visits kept coming colder every time. First she brought a lawyer. Next she started hinting at rights of interest in nearby lots. Last time she just glared at my freshly poured foundation and said, shame to waste money on something that'll never be finished. That's when I started getting serious. Cameras, lights, backups, hell, I even hired a guy to tuck microcams up in the trees out back. Paranoid maybe. But out here you learn quick paranoia is just early awareness. The house came together piece by piece. Every nail, every wire felt like I was building a fortress. When I finally stood on the back deck, steaming mug in hand, looking out over the pines, I honestly thought I'd won. Thought all her bluster was just hot air. God, was I wrong. That night my phone pinged a voicemail from Karen. Just wanted to remind you that actions have consequences, she said, like she was reading me a bedtime story. If you ever change your mind, we're still willing to make a generous offer. Before things get complicated. I didn't call back. Didn't matter. My last quiet night ended with the smell of diesel and burning dirt. I jolted awake, boots barely on, and stepped outside. The house, my house, was gone. Not broken into, not damaged. Gone. Blown wide open, splinters everywhere like God himself had stomped on it. My knees just gave out. I dropped there in the dirt, couldn't even breathe. Then I realized every single camera, every backup offline. System logs wiped, footage gone, even my off-site storage nuked clean. And then right on cue, a black Jeep slid up, tires crunching. Out steps Karen, heels this time strutting over gravel like it's a runway. She looked around at the mess, fake concern painted on her face. Did you decide to clear the lot? She asked, voice all faux sweet. Maybe the contractor made a mistake, she said, all innocence. These things happen especially when permits aren't in order. That's when the heavies got out, two guys, suits, sunglasses, jaws like cinder blocks. One twisted my arm, shoved me in the dirt. You're done, Karen whispered. No cameras, no proof. Sign this contract, walk away with $500,000, call it a bad dream. Or keep fighting and, well, accidents happen up here. The cash was real. The threat was realer. I don't know what got into me. Maybe desperation, maybe just stubbornness. I fought shoulder to the nearest goon, scrambled up, ran like hell into the woods. Branches tore at my arms, rocks under my boots, lungs burning. I didn't stop. Not for a long, long time. Sun was up by the time I stumbled onto the road, face a mess, shirt torn. First truck didn't even slow down. I probably looked like a wild animal. Next stop was this half-dead diner sign, said Lacey's Grill. I barely made it through the door, asked the waitress for a phone. No cops, I said, and she could tell I meant it. I dialed one number, Andy Morales guy I'd flown with in the Air Force now, in the FBI. They destroyed my house. I told him, voice cracking. They tried to force me to sign, had guys with guns. Please, man. He said, stay put, don't talk to anyone, I'm coming. Didn't take long for trouble to find me anyway. 2 local deputies came in, asked if I was involved in an incident near Summit Pines. "You're not under arrest yet," the younger one said, grabbing my arm. Waitress snapped, "He hasn't done anything." Next thing I know, face on the counter, cuffs on my wrists. That's when Andy rolled up with a federal badge and a squad. "This man is a federal witness," he barked, "and you just laid hands on him. That's obstruction." Deputies froze, Andy got me loose, and suddenly I was surrounded by real protection. "You're not just up against a greedy HOA," Andy told me once we were out of there. "This is organized crime. Maybe more." We holed up in a decommissioned ranger station, middle of nowhere. Andy made me tell him everything, dates, names, threats. When I mentioned those hidden pine tree cameras, his eyes lit up. "Might be our break," he said. We hiked back to the wreckage, found both microdrives right where I'd hidden them. Back at base, he plugged them in, boom. There it was. Footage of the whole damn operation: black trucks, masked men, signal jammers, explosives. Karen walking through the rubble at 3:27 a.m. laughing. That was all the proof we needed. Federal agents poured in. Everything was tagged, bagged, investigated. Andy put me in a safe house, no calls, no visitors. When this pops, he said, it's going to burn half that HOA to the ground. But Karen, she'd vanished. Someone posted her bail anonymous. Next day I got a Polaroid in the mail, shot of me at the diner, message on the back. Should have taken the money. That's when I knew Karen wasn't acting alone. Properties in other states, same tactics, same explosions. Now there were bodies. The feds shifted into overdrive, RICO, terrorism statutes, the works. They traced the web shell companies, phony contractors, dirty inspectors. One name came up: Wexler, a cleaner, the guy who ties up loose ends. We staged a sting, let it leak that I was testifying. Wexler's guy's bit showed up at a fake conference, made contact. Feds followed them straight to a compound in Scottsdale where they found enough evidence to indict half the board. We pulled the trap. I gave a live interview, face hidden, voice scrambled, telling my story, daring them to try again. Within hours, their hackers went after our files, except it was a honeypot. We traced them, raided the server farms, found records on everything, names, payments, even a hit list. My name was on it, along with terminated attempt failed. Indictments dropped like hailstones. Karen Wexler board members hauled off in cuffs. The headlines practically wrote themselves. HOA president arrested in racketeering scheme. My cabin flashed on the news, burned and broken, but it was there. That meant I was still standing. Back in Colorado, I found a stake in my ground property pending investigation. Yeah, the irony wasn't lost on me. Andy called. "It's not over," he warned. "They'll try again somewhere." I told him I wasn't afraid anymore. I'd lost my house, nearly lost my life, but I'd kept my soul in the truth. When spring thawed the ground, I started building again. Fireproofed, reinforced, every inch watched. They couldn't scare me off my own land. Reporters picked up the story. The HOA model came under national fire. Laws changed. Board elections scrutinized. Karen, 21 years, no parole. Wexler, 32. Dozens more flipped. The whole rotten setup collapsed. I sat in front of Congress and told them what it's like to be hunted for saying no. When I left, a rancher from Nevada caught my arm. "They tried it on me too," he said. "Not anymore." I still get letters, folks who've lost homes, land, peace. Some want advice. Most just want to know they're not alone. I answer every one. I remember what silence feels like. Karen won't see the light of day again. Wexler's locked up tighter than Fort Knox. Summit Pines gone, turned into conservation land. Andy visited once. We grilled, drank beer, watched the stars. "You ever think about leaving?" he asked. "Not a chance," I said. "Not after all this." And here's what stuck with me. One morning, package on my porch, a brass key, no note but this: "For the next one who says no." Maybe it's from a survivor. Maybe someone in the system waiting for their turn to fight back. Doesn't matter. I hung it by my door, a promise. Look, I know this isn't just my story. It's the first of many. Because power always comes knocking, and some folks just aren't wired to say yes. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you've stared down a bully, a board, a whole system stacked against you. If so, let me tell you this: don't let them scare you. Not anymore. So now let me ask you, where's the line for you? When do you say enough? No more, not for any price. Have you ever stood your ground when the world told you to fold? I want to hear your story. Drop it below. Tell me what you'd do if someone tried to erase your home, your legacy, your life. I read them all. And if you're in the fight, don't back down. Not now. Not ever.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.